All right, today we're cracking the code on one of the most unpredictable letters in English, the letter E. It seems so simple, right? But it's hiding a surprising number of different sounds. Think you've got it figured out? Well, get ready because we're going to dive in and master all 7 of them. So just take a look at these 2 words, green and get. Same letter, right? But the sound, totally different. One is a long E, and the other is a short, sharp eh. I mean, this is the kind of thing that trips up pretty much everyone. But here's the good news. There are actually secret rules, little hacks, that tell you which sound to use. And today, we're going to learn them all. Okay, so first things first, we've got to build a strong foundation. Let's start with the 2 most common sounds for the letter E. Seriously, if you get these 2 down, you're already halfway home. So first up, we have the short E. This is the eh sound, the eh in get. And the shortcut, the little trick to remember, it's all about the closed syllable. And what's that? Well, it's just a fancy way of saying the vowel E is followed by a consonant. It's closed in. So if you see vowel plus consonant, boom, that's your signal for the short E sound. And this is where it gets really cool. You can see that pattern in action right here. Just listen to these. Bed, red, pen, men. You hear that? In every single one, the E is followed by a consonant. That's our closed syllable rule doing its thing, creating that short eh sound. It's like super consistent. Okay, so what about these? Desk, best, wet. Can you hear that same sound? Of course you can, yes. Every single one follows our closed syllable rule to a T. That E is totally closed in by consonants, and that's what gives us that short eh sound. Pretty simple, right? Okay, you ready for the second main sound? Let's talk about the long E, or E. That's that long stretched out E sound you hear in a word like green. And the shortcut for this one? Well, it's pretty much the opposite of what we just learned. You're going to find it in what's called an open syllable. That's where E is at the very end of a syllable, or when it's part of a team, like EE or EA. And check this out. You can really see how this works with these examples. So words like bee, that's a classic open syllable. The E is just hanging out at the end. Then you've got the E team, right? See, tree, green. And the EA team gives us words like eat, seat, and teach. So whenever you spot one of these spellings, it is a huge clue that you're dealing with that long E sound. Okay, so let's put these 2 big rules side by side. This really makes it click. Look at this. Met versus meet. Pet versus Pete. See what's happening? On the left, that E is closed in, short sound. On the right, you've got those vowel teams working together to make that long E sound. It really is all about the spelling. All right, so you've got the 2 main sounds down. Feeling confident? Good, because now we're going to throw a wrench in the works. What happens when our friendly letter E is followed by an R? Well, let me tell you, R is what we call a bossy letter. It shows up and just completely takes over, changing the sound of the E. And that gives us our next 2 sounds. Okay, our third sound is ia, and it sounds exactly like the word air. The shortcut? Just keep your eyes peeled for spellings like air, ear, or even air. You can hear it super clearly in words like there, where, care, and fair. It's a really distinct sound, and those spelling patterns are basically your roadmap to finding it. And sound number 4 is Think of the sound in the word her. This one is almost always made by that spelling, especially when it's in the stress part of the word. Just listen. Her, term, verb, serve. And sometimes you'll even find it with an ear spelling, like in learn or earth. See? That R is totally in charge. Okay, deep breath. We're moving on to the advanced level now. These are the really sneaky ones, the special cases that trip everybody up. But here's the secret. Once you know the trick, they're actually super easy to spot. First up, and this is a big one, is the most common sound in the entire English language, the schwa. It's this super quick, kind of relaxed, sound. So what's the rule? Simple. Look for an E in a syllable that you don't stress. It's kind of like a lazy vowel. You can hear it in words like problem, garden, tuckin. We don't say problem M, right? It's problem. That part, that's the schwa. Okay, next up is a very special case. This is our 6th sound, I. The short I sound, like in the word sit. This little guy pops up in some very specific word endings. A great way to remember it is to think of the phrase pretty women. You also hear it in words like wicked, pocket, village, even sausage. It's definitely an exception, but it's a surprisingly common one. And last but not least, we have the true oddballs, the rebels. For these words, I gotta be honest, there's no real shortcut, no cool rule to memorize. These are just common words that, you just have to learn by heart. The good news is the list is pretty small. We're talking about words like friend, said, head, and bread. So, there you have it. You haven't just memorized a bunch of random rules. What you've really done is built a practical toolkit that you can use to figure out how to say thousands of English words. Let's put it all together. This is your entire toolkit at a glance. So, if you see a closed syllable, boom, that's your short S sound. See an open syllable or a vowel team? That's going to be your long E sound. If the E is in a part of the word you don't stress, that's almost always the schwa. And then you've got your bossy R rules, the air sound and the sound, plus those special endings, and of course that handful of oddballs you just gotta know. The point is, with these shortcuts, you're not just guessing anymore. You literally have the keys now to look at a word and know with confidence how to pronounce that super tricky letter E. So, I'm gonna leave you with a question to think about. Now that you have this new toolkit, what's an English word out there that still kind of messes with your head, that still feels like a puzzle? Think about it, keep practicing, and trust me, you'll be a master of the E in no time.